scares of every kind. Old school thrills and modern frights. We're serving up screams for 16 nights. From ghastly new to aged gore. 2 months of chills, who could want more? It's Flip-Floptober, double the dread. Laugh till you scream or hide under the bed. From cheesy slashers to eerie gold. 2 months of horror, new and old.
Oh, it's another year, and it's another Flick-Floptober. This week, we're going to unwrap the terror of Terrifier 3, where Art the Clown turns a peaceful Christmas Eve into a nightmare. Directed by Damien Leone, or Leone, I'm not sure, and starring David Howard Thornton and LaVera, this film promises to fill your holiday with more screams than cheer. Does Terrifier deliver the gruesome gifts fans are hoping for, or does it sit on your lap and take a pee? Find out this week on Flick-Floptober.
Oh, Gary. That
was a quick rewrite on the intro there with the sitting on your lap part.
That's a nice little nod to something that happens in the movie.
Yeah, there you go.
It's no spoilers in this one, but my Lord, I'm fresh off just seeing this movie. Literally, I just left the theater about a half an hour to an hour ago.
We got things to discuss. Are you prepared to do ratings at the beginning?
I can. Hang on. Has Rotten Tomatoes even addressed this yet?
I don't know if the fans. I don't know if the popcorn meter or whatever is up to date yet. Maybe.
Let me. I'm pulling it up as we speak.
Last time I looked, it was just critics.
Yes, there we have. So let me do Rotten Tomato first, Gary.
Okay. All right.
The tomato meter, the critics have this thing, and Rotten Tomatoes right now, as we speak, live, 77%.
77.
The fans, the verified people, the real people that got the working class Joe lunchboxes of the world. Yeah, we have that at 94%, Gary.
94. Wow. Yeah, that was not there last time I looked.
94. So.
Yeah.
I'll say this before we get into our ratings. I wanted to come home and take a shower after this movie.
Oh, when you said that, it wasn't because...
Not because I'm dirty from work.
Okay.
I feel dirty.
Right. Okay.
From this movie. Me and the 8 other people in the theater I saw it in.
Yeah, there's about 20 in mine. But let's roll our rating thing here to make sure everybody's updated on how we do it. A quick reminder that our rating system is unconventional. We don't hand out stars, we hand out poos and TPs, up to 5 of them. And just to add more confusion, the more we give, the crappier we think the film is. Crappier, get it? Yeah, it's dumb, but that's the way we do it. Yeah.
It makes no sense, but God bless.
That's how we do it.
We're how many 80 some odd episodes in? We are committed to this rating system.
That's right. We can't turn back now.
No. I mean, if we could turn back time, Gary.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was waiting for you to go. I did a slide. I did a say sore there, Gary.
And then you did the little tongue thing, but in a way, it almost reminded me of Dennis Wolfberg, which is a completely different topic for another day.
Oh, if this wasn't live, you could just slide that right in.
That's true.
Do you want to go first, or shall I?
I will go first. That's fine. Because you wanted to take a minute to try to wrap your head. I will say this: the unfair thing is that I have a almost 24-hour head start on you. I've had time to think about this movie.
It's marinated in your brain.
Yeah, I was going to say digest, but that's not the best word to use.
No, it is not.
For the record, I will say that I did go back and look at the history when we did Terrifier, the first not the original Terrifier, but what would be considered the first Terrifier. I gave that one a 4 TP.
Did not like it.
Go back and check it out if you want to see why. The second one, Terrifier 2, I don't want to get into it right now, although I've got some little things to mention to reference to that. But the second Terrifier, which we rated earlier this year, I gave that one a 3.5.
Getting better.
It was getting better because I felt like it was starting to add plot. I felt like plot, maybe not so much plot, but lore.
Yeah.
It was missing.
Sure.
And otherwise, it just seemed like it was just a gore fest. And it's just not my thing. But so I've thought about this and I've gone back and forth on numbers.
I can't wait.
It's only been a 0.5 difference. But I gave Terrifier 3 TPs.
Whoa, Gary, moving up.
I will tell you that I almost gave it 2.5. I will explain the 0.5, but please, Andy, let's hear what you got to say.
So I literally, I just told Gary I am not sure how to rate this film because I am fresh from it. And I'm going to come at it, and I may revise this in time, but right now I'm going to go with a 2, Gary.
Okay.
I mean, I was at the 2.5 to 3, but I'm going to go 2 on this because I think over time I'm going to appreciate this film a little more. I don't know that I'll ever watch it again. So there's where I don't. Do you want to start the discussion, or shall I?
Sure. Well, I will say I will give you the reason that I took a 0.5.
Yeah, do because you are the one who doesn't really care for these movies as much as I tend to.
I don't. I was talking about this movie earlier today, and I had mentioned that that I think my thing with this is that as a teenager, I probably would have loved this movie.
Sure.
At my age and with having kids and just being in a different place in my life, I think I find the gore part excessive. It's almost
being gentle.
It's like the Family Guy version of a joke. Only in this case, it's the gore where it's just like, surely it's about done, and it's not done yet. I will say the 0.5, and the reason I backed off of the better score in this case was mostly because of the kids thing. There's more kid deaths in this movie. I don't want to spoil anything, but just so you know. And that was the only thing that just made a little bit. It's almost like that's ground that I don't really want to tread.
Sure.
Most of it, I mean, it was all off screen except for maybe the results of it, which I appreciate. At least a little bit of decorum there. You didn't show it happening like you did with everybody else, which is great. But something about that just kind of it soured my stomach a little bit.
It's like your Mason-Dixon line for you.
Sort of.
I get that. I can respect that.
And it's not. I don't have a problem if anybody else likes it or anything. It's certainly not an issue with that. It's just that, I'm just in a different place in my life, I guess.
Yeah.
Sure. So that's the first thing, just to mention that's why I kind of came off of I liked it better. Jeff had texted me last night to see what I thought about it. I didn't want to give him any details. I just said, I liked it better than 2. I thought it is a better film than the second film.
So do you think the plots are getting better? Because that's
I will say the plot to this movie, and I will get to the lore in a second, but the plot to this movie I thought was more of a cohesive plot. It actually felt like there was a reason for the stuff happening. Well, you know what I mean? Like it felt like there was an arc to the story.
Yeah, sure.
My issue is still with the lore. It's clear that it's getting better, and maybe Damien does have some sort of future like plan. Maybe this is all tying to something, and it does kind of have it gives a little bit of that. I'm still feeding you a few little things here and there that are going to make sense later.
We still don't know why Art the Clown is Art the Clown.
Right.
And I'm with you on that. I do 100% agree with you on that. Because it's always been a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I just wish there was something,
Yeah.
Damn it! I just remembered I wanted to bring a prop down. I had something a gag I wanted to do for you. I just remembered. I don't have it with me.
Other than that, I mean, I've got some notes. We can go through notes, but I want to give you a chance to say a few things before just taking on the lion's share here.
As I've mentioned before, people talk about my daughter. Alex is 19. She's a horror fan, and she was immediately messaging me like, "I need to know what's thoughts on this thing, Dad." And I was like, when I left the theater, I just said to her, "This is disturbing. This film is disturbing, and I think this man, Damien Leone, needs to talk to somebody. And I'm being honest, like I'm just curious. You and I have talked about this before, Gary. Like, we're readers, Stephen King, and you see the movies and you read the books, and you're like, man, that's pretty crazy. And you're like, but what he thought of it? Like, we all sit down and think of like, oh, that'd be a neat story idea, but these story ideas are beyond. Just beyond, like, this is disturbing. Like, dude, you probably should, you need like therapy or something. And I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, there's some stuff that happens in this film that I'm like, what? And I literally, so this is what I said to my daughter. I almost couldn't enjoy my snow caps.
Almost.
I mean, let's be honest. I love a snow cap, but I literally put them down more than once. Put them down. I was like, I can't be eating during this. I just can't. I just no way. There is gore in this film that is beyond pale for me, and I think I'm with you on this, Gary, a little bit. I think it's maybe the age. As I'm getting older, maybe my stomach's a little weaker. There was a scene that everybody kept talking to me about where people were like leaving the theater. Apparently, there's a handful of people have actually walked out of this movie. Are you aware of this, Gary?
I've heard the stories that people walked out. I was under the impression it was early in the movie, and so it made me wonder if it was the opening sequence. I will tell you this quick note on that, because I would like you to tell me what scene it is. I will say that in our theater there was probably about 20 people. There were most of them behind me from where I was sitting. Interestingly enough, a pretty big theater.
Yeah.
I had ordered my tickets a week ago when we talked about this. And I walked in, and when I got there, I noticed that there was a couple, like one seat for me. And I was like, of the whole theater, they looked and they saw, there's somebody in this
300 seats.
Like, no big deal. They didn't bother me. Certainly didn't bother them. But interestingly, in front of me, there was somebody in one of the handicap seats. And after the opening sequence, that person got on their little scooter, drove out, and I never saw him again.
Never came back.
Never came back.
Wow.
And which led me to the question of, this is Terrifier 3. This is clearly the third of a series.
Did you think we'd get gentler?
I just didn't understand like what the process was, because I'm like, who goes to a movie the third movie without seeing the first two, right?
Right.
Not a lot of people. So it leads you to believe that they probably saw the other movies. They give you that's a pretty good precursor to what you're in for. So, anyway, I just, so I did see somebody leave our theater.
Nice.
And that was, that was interesting, but I thought it was a more opening thing. Is that not it? Is it the shower thing?
The shower scene.
I mean, that one's pretty brutal.
That was the one where I had snow caps in hand. I was like, nope. And I sat him down. I was like, I got to wait for this to end. And it just seems like it doesn't ever end.
That's what I was going to say.
I was like, oh, Jesus.
Just when you think like, okay, well, now it's done, and it's still not done.
Oh, it's still not done.
It's almost like the, in a way, the male version of the female death from one of the previous films.
Absolutely, which I did not see coming. Didn't want to see it coming.
No. It did make me chuckle a little bit at first.
Yeah, I mean, look, this film is, well, first of all, it's a holiday film, so we could have saved this for our Christmas.
Oh yeah.
So I do like that we have more.
This is what I want to talk about around Christmas.
We've got more entries in the holiday films.
Yes.
Look, we can't talk a lot about it without spoiling it, but I would just say this flat out. Know this. This is a bloodfest. This is gory. This is disturbing. If you don't like any of those things at all, I mean, and I'm not, look, I love this stuff, and I was bothered by some of the stuff I saw. Literally, I was like, man, there were like, I think there was 3 times where I was like in my seat, like, oh, wow. Oh, I didn't need to see that. The crowd I was with, the whole 8 people, they were all the same way, same reactions, same lot of like, oh,
yeah.
Damien Leone he's got something going here. He definitely, I mean, I would love to see the production meetings for this thing.
I'll say this. We talk about the not knowing the background behind Art the Clown, but I will say I'm starting to like the character a lot. And it's not so much, I mean, the gory part. Really, it's the actor, David Howard Thornton, is that his name?
He is expressive as all get
Oh
out.
my
You can
gosh,
relay us
amazing.
with his
Yes.
face. And I'm like, and he's in
Yes.
makeup.
Yes.
So I'm with you 100% on that. I mean,
That
it's
dude's awesome. I think he's great. And there are some laugh out loud moments in the movie.
yes.
I don't know but there are a few spots that, I mean, the theater chuckled, you know?
Did you want to talk about the cameo appearances, or want to
I
leave that?
did. I wrote down some.
There were 4 that I caught. Did you catch all 4?
I caught 5.
Oh,
wait, 1, 2, 3.
You got one I didn't catch.
Well, there's 4. There's another one too, but I don't know if I wrote it.
One I didn't catch till I saw the ending credits, and I had to go back and look at it because I was like, "Wait a minute, what did I miss?"
So the one guy that plays Santa, I don't know his name off the top of my head.
I didn't.
But that guy has been in a lot of stuff. I recognize him mostly from comedies, I think. Clint Howard is in it. He has a brief scene. Tom Savini makes an appearance.
I caught immediately. I was like, "Oh, Tom Savini, nice."
Yeah. You've got Jericho. What's his name? Chris Jericho. I was like Greg for some reason. And then probably the one that surprised me the most was Jason Patrick, because
I didn't even catch it.
I was staring at him every time he was on screen, and I'm like, it looks a lot like whoever this actor is looks a lot like Jason Patrick, but I couldn't tell if it was really him or not. And then, I did. I found out afterwards that it was him. But that's interesting to see all those guys in it. The Clint Howard part with that scene's pretty funny.
that whole scene.
Yeah.
The thing I like is like this movie now is garnering attention. Like people are trying to get in it, which I think is fascinating. You know,
it should probably have a big weekend too, I would think.
I mean,
we're right in the middle of horror season with October.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, if you're going to go see a clown this weekend, nobody's going to see Joker. So, I mean, you know, you're going to be going to see this one.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look, this is, yeah.
It's a much better movie. I will say, so I did mention the gore. That was kind of a turn off to me. The movie was although much shorter than the second movie.
It felt long.
It still felt long.
Felt long to me.
And it might have been that I almost thought that they could have cut out the entire beginning. That whole beginning could have been gone. It could have started with the girl getting out of the place where she's at, and it could have started right there. And I think that probably would have been a tighter movie.
Yeah.
My critique of the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, if we're gonna pick it at it, there were also like some of the middling stuff with the family and the holidays. You could have just shortened some of those scenes. We didn't need all of it.
Yeah,
it didn't move the story one way or the other. Just drug it out a little bit. You could have. He probably could have brought this in at an hour 40, hour 45. It feels a little long in the tooth at some points. So.
Yeah, towards the ending, I was kind of like, okay, I'm having fatigue, and I think it's gore fatigue.
Yeah,
I think after a while, you're just like, okay, oh my gosh, how much more can they put on the screen? You know,
we'll save some for the next movie.
It's like eating too much frosting before you actually have your cake, and then by the time your cake's ready, you're like, I can't eat anymore.
I don't want any cake.
Real life thing happened to me when I was 9, I think. Anyway, so. You know, I will say, Andy, did you guys have the trailer for Screamboat?
Yes.
I was sitting there thinking of you the whole time. I'm like, oh boy, here we go with the whole Steamboat, Mickey thing, and then
I mean, people are jumping on that stuff.
Yeah. And I will say one of the last things. It's clearly there. You know, all of the lore is not there. It's clearly set up for another movie. They left it in a fashion so they can continue. I'm sure it's going to. Hopefully, everything gets tied up with some of the background. It will help us make sense of it a little bit more.
Absolutely.
But actually, I told Jeff. I said I liked the movie. You know, whereas I didn't think the second one was terrible. I did not like the first one, mostly because it just seemed kind of pointless. It just seemed like it was.
Score.
Yeah. But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. That pretty much covers all of my notes.
Yeah, there's nothing more I need to say. I've made it very clear. It's disturbing. It's gory. I liked it. I look forward to the next one, but oof, I don't
and
know.
what I will say one last thing that's on here. The acting I thought was way better too.
Yeah.
I don't know what your thoughts were. The main character, I thought she was really good.
Yeah, well, all of it. Yeah, the family was
Yeah.
great. I was buying. I mean,
it
all of
just felt better. Like the acting just felt more.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry,
That's all I
man.
got, Gary. I have nothing else to add to it. It's gory. Go see it or don't.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
If you saw the first two, you know what you're in for. If you like them, you'll like this. If gore is not your thing,
Do
avoid
not
it.
see this movie.
And avoid Joker 2 also. Just
Yeah, because that's just terrible.
Because that's a waste of money. Thanks, everybody. Join us next week. We're going to tackle another movie for Flick Floptober. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know when you see Terrifier 3. If you do, comment below and let us know what you think. Thanks.
This has been a Touch of Madness production, brought to you by the creative minds at Tommy Twins Media.